What's up, everyone? It's Iceman Oz, aka Jay, and alongside me I've got my buddy Lucas, and we're going to talk about some very specific things within Battlefield 1, some of the gadgets, the firearms, and some of the melee weapons. We're going to go in depth into it, so if that interests you, sit back, relax, get some popcorn, and enjoy the show. What's up, Lucas?
Nothing much. Just chilling and relaxing. Fucking bitches eating chicken, that type of thing, you know?
Well, you know, that's something.
Loving every minute of it.
Loving every minute of it. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So, regarding the explosives in Battlefield 1, the most interesting thing is the anti-tank grenade. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time we've seen anything like it in a Battlefield game. I mean, it's specifically used against the tanks, and I don't know how it'll perform against infantry. We're yet to see that exactly.
That is that. There's two elements there. I mean, is it going to be how many grenades do you fucking need? Is it going to be a Battlefield 4? You've got to shoot your load just to destroy one tank, or is it going to be like you're equipped with two and two will do the damage? Does it have any effect against infantry? I'm assuming it does, but how effective it would be.
Probably not very effective. I mean, it couldn't be as effective, you know.
Yeah, would it be something like the thermal imploder or whatever it is out of Battlefront, which just wrecks infantry, and you know that thing should really go against vehicles as well.
Yeah.
So you never know. And whether it's actually a throwing weapon or if it's something like a sticky bomb, something you have to be right next to the tank and throw it on it.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing at it, might be an interesting little.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you think about it, when it comes down to it simply, I mean, it's not going to be powerful against infantry because they would take away the balance and take away the point of using the other grenades, right? So it's really the counter to the tanks. And when you think about the tanks back in World War One, right, they were not very maneuverable, they were very static, and I think they'll be taken down pretty easily, but at the same time they will be extremely, extremely powerful at the same time.
I think they won't take away the vehicle speed just on the basis that the fact that tanks were like only first come out.
You don't think so? Wait, so you're saying you'll think they'll perform exactly the same way as they have?
They'll have. What you got to think about it is they're not going for realism here. At the end of the day, so I think the tanks are. I mean, if you look at the trailer, you can see the speed of the tanks.
Right, and it was actually going pretty quick.
And the World War One, they did 4 to 5 miles an hour. You know what I mean? That wasn't going 4 to 5 miles an hour. Even the planes, like, they were traveling faster than they should have done.
So everything was going in fast forward, but it was a trailer, so maybe.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going for realism here, but it'd be interesting because there's dynamite as well.
Yeah, the dynamite. Well, I was about to ask: is the dynamite like C4? Is that like the new C4?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's going to be the new Jeep stuff, to borrow a phrase from Battlefield friends.
Really? So wait. So wait a minute. So there's dynamite. Is there any sort of like claymores or trip mines or anything like that?
Well,
that we're aware of?
They haven't confirmed anything, but there probably could be very primitive versions of it. Have you ever played the game Sniper?
No.
A Sniper Elite or something like that. Well, the trip mines and that is where you have to place the explosive in one corner and then place the trip mine wire somewhere else. So it probably makes you a little bit more vulnerable with those particular ones if they do include them.
I disagree with them including them at all. Like, I just don't see the point.
Well, yeah.
I think they're very frustrating.
I mean, there's probably going to be some sort of. Maybe they'll just put something in if there's trenches involved in particular maps that you can activate a trench trap or something. I don't know. Instead of having people just placing random freaking trip mines everywhere, because they really do. Any sort of gadget in this particular battlefield that's leave or fire and forget will probably not really make too much sense, especially if they're, like they said, they want to focus a bit more on melee combat and they want to have weapons. The weapons are going to be detect, if you know what I mean. Going to be like more bolt action rifle with like full on side scopes and
there should be a focus on your skill, not on when you place it randomly and then they randomly go into a position where it messes them up.
From what I've read and from other people, particularly on Reddit, is that there's going to be spread and recoil penalty for automatic rifles to balance them against the bolt action rifles. Apparently, so if they're doing that type of thing, I think any weapons that are leave or fire and forget aren't really going to be included. Not just because of the tech period, but because it'll just ruin the balance. Right. I think entirely. And there's no mention of any sort of anti-air ground weapon either at the moment. So I'm thinking that they're probably going to be some sort of fixed position, probably a mounted machine gun that has like can angle upwards and stuff like that. Although that probably would make you quite vulnerable as well in that with that regards. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with any. Because the last thing you want is like any annoying part of Battlefield is you get one guy in a plane who does nothing but plays in the aircraft from day one. He goes 142 and nothing and thinks he's the dog's bollocks, because that just annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, and it's a very particular subset of people who are good in those jets, right? I mean, it's very there's a very particular subset of those people, and everyone else who is playing is having an absolutely terrible time. That is just another one of those problems in Battlefield 4, and I think a lot of people look over the problems in Battlefield 4 for the positives, but that was just that's just another one of those little things that just always irked me. But this isn't a rant on Battlefield 4 anyway. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think they're getting around that because they're introducing specific vehicle classes. So you've got the medic, you've got the support, you've got the sniper, and then you've got tanker, and you've got pilot, I think, from what I've read.
As their own classes.
As their own classes, so you don't spawn on the ground, you spawn automatically in a vehicle.
I don't know how true that is. I haven't heard any. Is that a confirmed?
I've read it on Reddit. I don't know if it's been confirmed or not. I'm not 100% sure.
That's interesting. So that means there'd be 6 classes in the game, if that's true.
Basically. There'll be 6. There are 2 vehicle classes and 4 infantry classes, which means that they probably are the reason they're bringing in anti-tank grenades and there's no like rocket launchers, anything like that. And we've got two types of high explosive is to balance that against the ground vehicles. I think is probably where they're coming from on that particular one. How that all works is another matter. As for other gadgets and things like that, maybe they're more static ones. Like you used to get these huge landmines that blew up parts of the trench, you know, shot there 25 foot up in the air. Maybe that's something like the IEDs they introduced in Battlefield 4. There could be some like strange, wacky, weird tech they might want to bring in. You know,
hopefully not.
People know when they were experimenting with different types of weapons. I mean, like the flamethrower, for instance, didn't come into play till late in the war. Same with tanks themselves. So, might have to do a bit more research on like the weird and wacky weapons of World War One. But it could be interesting to see what they could bring in if that's the case, particularly if it's a weapons DLC as well.
So moving along, we've also got the mustard gas grenade and then the gas mask. So these two really coincide with each other. The countermeasure to the mustard gas grenade is the gas mask. What do you think about the mustard gas grenade? Do you think it'll be how it performs in Battlefield Hardline? Do you think that's how it's going to go, or is it going to be something different? Because we haven't actually seen a genuine grenade. Like, we haven't actually seen a grenade. We aren't sure that there is going to be one, although it would make sense, as in the previous Battlefield games have always implemented as such. Were there grenades back around in World?
Yeah, they had trench grenades. They had big fucking hand throwing things that you could only throw a couple of feet.
Yeah, they got to be a thing, right?
I don't like the idea of mustard gas grenades because they didn't actually have them as grenades. They were pipes, if you know what I mean. They were like pipes that they. That's going into that realism part that they are trying to. I mean, it is a video game at the end of the day. So, but I'm wondering like how they're going to perform when it comes to in-game and how much they'll be utilized. Because if you have a grenade that can instantly kill, I think they may just go by the wayside like a flashbang grenade. I think it'll be similar to Hardline, where it'll have a detrimental effect to your health and your ability to carry on fighting. Because I think if they go back to realism, mustard gas didn't really kill. It was more of like a blinding, you know, degrading, injuring thing.
Yeah.
It probably could kill if you're on low health in the game, though. It's certainly, from what I've seen in the trailer, it certainly seems to be a bit more visible, a bit easier to spot than it is in Hardline, because you could just run around the corner and not realise you're running into a gas grenade on Hardline. So I think that'd be interesting. Unless, of course, the thing we saw in
Well,
the trailer was a freaking smoke grenade, and they
well,
just
yeah, and yeah, there's that. But the other thing is the gas masks. So they are. It's obviously got to be pretty powerful if they're implementing a countermeasure to it. Like it can't be
yeah.
weak if they're making a countermeasure for it. It is a key
And it
component of it.
doesn't seem like to me that you have to specifically put it in your loadout either.
Right.
'Cause the guy looked like he wasn't wearing it automatically. You had to looked like he pressed a button to put it
And
on
then he
during the
put it
trip.
on. Right. Yeah.
So I mean, the only other game I can think of that does that is Metro Last Light or Metro 2033, where you go specific areas and the guy starts coughing, so you have to put the gas mask on.
So it'd be exactly like that. You think?
Yeah, so I think
Well,
that's an interesting element to. The question is of how are these going to be implemented though, because I heard they were bringing elements of Battlefront into it.
okay.
So if they're going to bring in like something like battle cards where you can just every 10 to 15 seconds you can spam an anti-tank
That's
grenade.
ridiculous. That'd be insane.
I'm not saying that's it, but that would totally fuck up the balance. You just get nade spam's bad enough on a 64-man server,
True. Yeah.
but you don't every 10 to 15 seconds.
Could you
So
imagine if they made like an Operation Metro, like World War One, like when it was back in World War One,
that's underground,
and
yeah, as a
then
deal.
have a bunch of respawning grenades? Could you imagine that? Like 64 players with that, it'd be AIDS. It'd be AIDS. That's what it'd be.
It'd be terrible.
Yeah.
So
No.
maybe they're bringing fancy blue floaty chips in. I don't know, power pickups again. I don't think they'll see them get rid of it.
If they bring
And
in power pickups again, I'm gonna be pissed, man. Like,
I don't know what. Yeah, well, that's going to be like a moving gadget and things like that. And there's been no mention of what player perks you can have. Maybe extra magazines, maybe quicker heals, and how that's implemented. Are they going to bring in the hardline version where you pick your own perks, or is it going to be a loadout one?
well, something the developers have said that they are trying to scale it back. Like they are trying to find the balance between, like too much and then not enough, because they
Yeah.
have said that before. Sometimes too much of a good thing can actually be a bad thing. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to the player. Sometimes there's just so much going on. We have situations like Battlefield 4 and Hardline where you have 100 weapons that do the same thing. And I know people say, oh, Iceman Oz, you exaggerate. Bullshit, okay? Let me tell you right now, there are so many weapons in Battlefield 4 and Hardline that do the exact same thing, that there are more weapons that have more variants in games like Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2. Okay, you can put makeup on a pig, but at the end of the day, it's still a pig. So with that being said, let's move along to the firearms that are confirmed
Yes,
so far.
moving on to this bit. Yeah.
At this
Yeah, go on.
No,
Sorry.
I was going to say, so moving on to the firearms confirmed so far, there's the Colt M1911, the semi-automatic pistol. It's a classic in
Anti-tank
all
rifle?
games.
Holy shit!
An anti-tank, yeah, there's an anti-tank rifle.
The sixth one, I didn't. Oh my god, I didn't know there was 19 Mauser 1918 anti-tank rifle. Oh, they really are beefing up the anti armor for the infantry, aren't they?
Yeah,
Flipping heck.
yeah, that's
I wonder
good,
how
man.
effective that is against infantry. I wonder.
I get the feeling it'll be like the equivalent of... It wouldn't be good against
50
infantry.
caliber, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be... Well, I mean, if it's a 50 cal, how could they make it weak against infantry? Like, if a
Just
50
like
cal
tear
hits
limbs
you...
off.
I'd assume... No, you know what's funny? I'd assume it's like an RPG.
Yeah,
But it's a
yeah.
firearm, so it's going to be a primary, right?
It's like the machine gun, the MG08 machine gun mounted and loadout weapon.
Yeah.
Sounds like that they're gonna be placed along the map, and there's gonna be one where if you have one of them, you don't have a sidearm or anything else. It's like that. That's the only thing you're carrying.
That's pretty badass, though.
Yeah, so that seems pretty
I
interesting.
mean,
There's
like
a lot
the
of
firearms overall, when you think about it, there's a lot of difference here, right? Because we are in
Yeah.
World War One, all of the weapons are going to be good. You will not have weapons like the AUG A3, for example, ones that we've seen over and over and over again. The AEK 971, which I'm sad to see go, but at the same time, I'm excited for a change. The Lewis gun, like the MP18, you got a lot of different weapons that'll be implemented that are going
even
to
the
really
rifles
switch
are
it up.
differentiating, because if you've got the Lee Enfield and then you've got the German Mauser or the French equivalent, you're going to have different ammo counts. You're going to have the Lee Enfield with 10 rounds, and then you're going to have the German and French equivalents, which only held 5. And then I think the French one wasn't a clip-mounted one either, if you know what I mean. They had to manually feed the bullets in.
Oh, really? Like a shotgun?
Yeah. Yeah, like a shotgun. So there's going to be a lot of variance in the way you play and how they feel. Like I've already said, the way they're trying to balance out the automatic weapons with the LMGs and the rifles to make everything a bit more competitive. It's going to be interesting. And then first time we've ever really had in a battlefield apart from Vietnam, the flamethrower. That's making
yeah. I'm gonna be shitting my britches with flamethrowers. Something about flamethrowers.
It's gonna be our pickup. That one. That's gonna be a pickup
think so?
weapon.
You really think? You think that? Really?
That's probably gonna be a pickup weapon. That's just if you could put that in your loadout and still carry around grenades and
wait, no, back up. But wouldn't it be like a shotgun if you think about it? Because it'd only be good at really short range. I mean, if you're beyond 20 meters, you literally don't stand a chance. I mean, the other thing you have to keep in mind is that they could have a sidearm as well, so you could switch to your sidearm and just use that, but you'd lose against the ARs.
Yeah, that flamethrower seems like be a very like a bottleneck weapon that will hold down a corridor or a small space.
And because it's all trench warfare, I mean, I could see it being very useful.
Although I would love to see if like something like out of the Division, if like he shot the back of the tank, the guy blew up, the tank on his back.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. The first thing when I saw the flamethrower, I was like, this is like in the Division. And whenever I played when I first played the Division, I saw the flamethrowers. Something about that just scared the crap out of me. Like they'd come up behind me with a flamethrower.
Them every 5 seconds and didn't realise.
That might have something to do with it, maybe.
And then you still shoot the back of the tanks and still run at them and they blew up on you. Yeah, that was the...
Well, I wasn't too... They made me panic, all right? So in Battlefield 1, it's probably going to be the same thing.
There's something very primeval about burning alive, even in a video game. Doesn't sound too nice, does it?
So if any of you guys see me in a server, you know how to kill me now. Just get a flamethrower and I'll flip out. So...
Like 31 players running after you with a flame. You're going, get away!
Don't do that. No, please, no. Please, no, I can't. So, when it comes down to the weapons overall, it's going to be a nice change of pace. I mean, and that's what I'm looking forward to most. For a long time, we've had the same sort of thing over and over again. And, I mean, that's what the World War I theme brings, right? It brings difference in everything. Let's move along a little bit, though, to the melee weapons that have been confirmed so far. You've got the spiked mace, the trench spade, bolo knife, jambaya dagger, scimitar, which sounds like a Pokemon, and the bayonet.
Scimitar, I choose you. Slice, slice, slice.
Yeah, it sounds like a Scyther, if you've ever heard of that. Yeah. The bayonet...
Two of them are only available if you pre-order, which is the bolo knife and the jabba dagger.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Did you catch that?
What was that?
That was my dad burping.
Your dog?
My dad.
Your dad?
Yeah.
My God. Okay. Well,
it was like a freaking foghorn.
Yeah, it sounded like he was calling you in from the fucking ocean. Okay, so I mean, these knives and the melee weapons. So the interesting thing about the melee weapons is that some of them will be more powerful than others, meaning that if you build up to take a swing, it can kill your opponent in one shot, like in Battlefield Hardline. But then you have ones that are slightly weaker, but they attack faster. If I'll be entirely honest, I'm going to be 100% here. I don't like the idea that melee weapons can kill you in one shot, because one, it takes away a lot of the time the point of the shotguns, and two, if you don't have a chance to react, I just don't like the idea of that. I like the idea of being able to turn on your opponent and get into a gunfight, not be in a situation where you're randomly close to another guy and then he's randomly close to you and then just gets the kill, like...
Yeah. I like the idea of the bayonet, though, whether it be attached to your weapon at the end of your rifle and you get a proper bayonet animation where you kick the leg from under him or something and then stab him.
That's pretty savage.
He's on the ground. Yeah,
that could be an animation. I could imagine that'd be a takedown animation for sure. That'd be something that they'd put in, no doubt. But that idea of being able to take someone out instantly, I'm totally against that. And if there are any developers or anyone within in EA watching this, I'd definitely consider not having that. But I know they're going to go with it anyway because you've added so many melee weapons. You know, the best melee weapon in the entire game, man, the spade, the trench spade, man. Just knock them over the head, dig a hole in the ground and bury them.
Throat.
Yeah,
because they sharpen those things and to make them actually into weapons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they use them like swords.
Yeah, pretty much, just slit throats. I mean, the Russians did it in Stalingrad, if you know what I mean. It was like their main close quarters weapon was like a sharpened trench spade. Those things are lethal.
No, I can imagine. I wouldn't. That doesn't sound like a fun time to me, if I'm honest.
No. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been confirmed that's available, and if you pre-order though. I mean, 2 of those melee weapons are only available if you get the digital deluxe edition. Same with the trench shotgun.
Yeah.
And the and the Colt M191 semi-automatic pistol. There's a lot of stuff in there.
And that's a classic weapon right there. Like that's always been available for. It's always been available for free. Normally, it's just kind of weird that they're. And the other problem is that if any of these weapons are really strong, then that.
Yeah, I can see the trench shotgun being a problem, and maybe the bolo knife and the jabaya dagger possibly being the primo freaking melee weapons that people will want.
Yeah, the shotgun scares me the most. The trench shotgun.
I've always hated shotguns in
Me too.
in these games.
Me too. Yeah, because it doesn't give you enough chance to react at close range, so it kind of takes away the
from
point.
behind, just take your legs from under you.
That's why a lot of the time, a lot of people don't use SMGs, because if you're going to be fighting at close range, you might as well use the shotgun and try and get that one-shot kill. And then if you want the medium range, then you're going to use the AR. So it kind of I don't know, destroys the point of it. I was hoping that because we are going back to World War One, that there wouldn't be an opportunity for a shotgun, but I mean they've managed to put one in battle.
4 to 5 rounds and very slow action. Hopefully,
well, hopefully. I mean, but they managed to put one in Star Wars Battlefront, so I mean.
the Jawa stun weapon turns into a freaking shotgun.
Just because a shotgun exists does not mean you have to put it in there. And I know there are people who are fans of shotguns, but
look at this way: there shouldn't be any automatic shotguns, so we think we're safe on that one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that. I can pass off for a pump action shotgun. I used to use in Battlefield 3, like the Spaz 12 slugs. Slugs are alright, because like slugs you have to aim. It's like a sniper rifle, in a way. So I'm down with that. I just hate like when people just spray and hip fire. It's just really annoying, because I've had many a kill streak destroyed with that.
I could tell 12 with the Sega or the Saga or whatever it's bloody called, or the USAS.
That won't be around. They won't. They're all gone.
Well, I know they won't be, but they're freaking annoying.
Oh, you won't have to worry about them anymore, so that's good news. But to wrap this up, let me ask you guys a question in the comments. The melee weapons, the firearms, and the gadgets and explosives. Now, out of all these things, what is the gadget that you're looking forward to most? What is the explosive you're looking forward to most? What is the firearm you're looking forward to most? And what is the melee weapon that you're looking forward to most? I'd like to hear that in the comments section below. I'd like to thank Lugas for joining me. I appreciate the time. Definitely recommend you guys check out his channel if you like to fuck bitches and eat chicken like Iceman Oz.
And enjoy every minute of it as well.
And enjoying every minute of it. That's his new saying, apparently. So that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You do the outro, man. You do my outro. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. As always, please feel free to give a like, give a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, peace.